All right, coming back at you with a little bit more granny analysis. This image right here really resonates with me. It makes me feel like this is an elderly woman who took her grandkids sledding and sitting down on the benches, like,
All right, babies, don't go too far. Granny can't see you. We gonna get some hot cocoa after this. All right.
the fact that Granny doesn't realize why we call Shim, him, it, whatever it wants to be called, Granny is very confusing because look at you. Look at the way you dress, the disposition, the voice, the behavior, the mannerism is very grandmotherly, womanly. You don't even act like a grandpappy, Granny. You act like a fucking granny. Excuse my language. This Granny makes people just passionate. You just makes you say things. But anyways, Granny reminds me of the people that I grew up with, or well, not really with, but around in in the neighborhoods. Those poor people that walk up and down the street and they beg people for money, they sing, they dance, they perform. That's Granny would fit very well. She would fit very well out there because there are so many different characters just like her. But unlike Granny, at least they admit somewhat, they admit who they are. Even if they think they're the Queen of England, these people still admit that they a part of that community. And I'm not trying to put no hate on that community, but it's just the fact that Granny's denying to be a part of it is very confusing. Because the people I've seen growing up like this, like I said, these people never shy away from telling what they like and who they like. Even if their mind is gone on drugs or mental issues, they at least don't hide that fact. And the fact that Granny thinks she can hide it up and pretend to be saved and sanctified is bullshit. Look at her. Like this look, it's like, are you trying to look like Whoopi Goldberg and Rosa Parks and Florida Evans? Granny, you are a joke that is no longer funny, but we still watch because your bullshit is priceless. Granny, we trying to get you on Netflix. We want to get the world because we're not a part of your Kojic world. Granny, that's the funny thing. We're not a part of your Kojic world. So that's why we don't understand the mannerism, the behavior, the culture. I don't understand none of that bullshit. So we're trying to gather an audience because you wanted fame, you wanted notoriety, you wanted clout, Granny. But then you try to act like you don't want it. But Granny, somebody gonna get a hold of you and they gonna turn your ass into something on Netflix and Hulu. And you won't be famous for being Sid William. You're gonna be famous for being Granny, the clown, the laughing stock, the comic relief that we have gotten through the pandemic. Even before the pandemic, you are comic relief. And all those threats you make are hilarious. The shit you say about my kids, it is hilarious. We don't watch and get offended. You have never offended me. I have to get that clear, Granny. You have never offended me. You have never bothered me. You have never upset me. Because look at you. Fucking Willy Wonka and the Joker. You are not offensive to anybody. Only thing offensive about you is your lies. All you do is lie. That's the more offensive and insulting thing is that you lie. And you make it seem like we're the bad guys and you're the innocent victim who's just confused and I just don't understand. And why do they watch it? All right, where was I before I got distracted and interrupted? But yeah, Granny, your likeness needs to be captured and through animation, through like the Boondocks or some shit, Rick and Morty type shit. Of course, you probably don't know what that is, Mrs. Millennial, but you can't even name any popular and relevant singers, actors, celebrities. You naming people from like the 70s. You mentioned Sylvester Stallone once, and no, and I have mad respect for Sylvester Stallone, but he's not really relevant enough to be mentioning his name the way you have. You said we make you feel like Sylvester Stallone, Granny. That was a dead giveaway that you are not a millennial. You're nowhere near close to our age, Granny. You need to hang it up and just admit your actual age. Admit everything because everything about you, you expose yourself. You the nails, the wigs, the eyelashes. You look like a discounted ass drag queen. I've seen your kind many times, Granny. You're not fooling nobody. Not even fooling yourself. You and Andrew. And that shows that Kojic culture is toxic. And y'all always saying somebody going to hell. Granny, you're gonna be in hell first class. Since you think you're so bougie, you're gonna be sent in hell first class if you don't get your shit together. But the most dangerous thing about you, Granny, is that you don't even see it. You think that you're okay. You think the rest of us are fags and hell bent. And that right there is even more concerning and hilarious to me, is that somebody that looks like you has the nerves to call anybody a derogatory slur when the nails, the tight clothing, the girdles, the hats, the voice, the makeup, and you were wearing makeup in this video. This goes without saying, Granny. You can deny, but that face, that essence of yours screams every last derogatory word you have called somebody. You said things about trans people, drag queens, and that seems to be the hot topic of every time you go live, is about the community that you condemn so much, that you are a part of, that you would probably be a queen of, a literal queen. Because look at you, Granny. You look like you belong somewhere in some type of halfway house dedicated to people who are homeless. I mean, you probably are. I mean, after the extended stay, after you get finally they get tired of you and throw your ass out, you probably will stay in some type of halfway house. But anyways, I feel like I have gotten off track. But yes, Granny, you are a clown show, and like I said, we gonna get you up there on Hulu. You gonna be the next Tiger King. They gonna see your dumb ass, and they gonna make cartoons out of you. They gonna make video games out of you, Granny, and you ain't gonna profit off of none of it. And you don't like that type of teaching.